Hello and welcome to Fowl Play. Not to be confused with foul play or foul ball. This is an introductory video. Really kind of my first steps into the YouTube world doing documentation. So I'm new at this. So forgive me if things look a little off or the speakers aren't quite right. We don't have a lot of fancy equipment, but this is our journey from the suburbs to the country to a small community in southeast Kansas. We do live in town in a community of about 650, 660 people. And we want to show you what you can do in the backyard. And there are other things too, for example, like we want to be out of debt and we want to feel like we're more in control, more self-reliant as much as we can for the resources that we have. And many of you feel that same way. Specifically, we call it fowl play because we have a flock of chickens and we want to share with you what we've learned, not to negate so many other channels that we have learned from. So let me back up a little bit. In September of 2018, my wife begged and begged and begged for a chicken coop. She wanted chickens, and she longingly looking out the back windows of the house at the backyard at her pretend flock of chickens for many months, and then the house beginning to fill with little chicken knickknacks. And for her birthday in September of 2018, that's what she wanted for her birthday. Of all things, right? I didn't go to the jewelry store. Every kiss begins with K. Kind of feel sorry for that person, right? Anyway, pretty much had my hands tied. I need to build the chicken coop. My heart wasn't in it. We didn't know anything about chickens. Not a thing, actually, about chickens. And my heart wasn't in it. I didn't want to do it. I wasn't all fuzzy, cuddly with animals. But again, to honor my wife, we got this thing built. And once we got it built, we didn't get chickens until February of 2019. But during that kind of transition period where we built the chicken coop and then actually got the chickens, we watched tons and tons and tons of videos on YouTube and a lot of homesteading videos, and we want to give a shout out to a few of them. There's no way I could remember all of them. We've seen so many throughout the years that we've been doing this, or year and a half we've been doing this. But we do have to give a shout out to a few: White House on the Hill, Roots and Refuge, Homesteady, Becky's Homestead, Patera out there at Appalachia Homestead, and not to forget Morgan up there at Goldshaw Farm. Release the quackin'. Here we release the cluckin', right? So we want to give big thanks, and I might also mention too my mama had to send me to a special school. I just take the Forrest Gump approach when I can't talk right or something. So I want to also give a shout out and give them support, give them some love. Southwest Wildlife Foundation of Utah. Martin and Susan Tyner, they run a wildlife refuge there. Really admire what they're doing. I believe in what they're doing. And if you can just look them up and just see what they're doing and give them some help if you can. I believe in what they're doing there with wildlife, specifically with birds of prey and other animals too, but specifically birds of prey, eagles and hawks and those kind of things. So give them some love. So here we want to, again, this is an introductory video. I'm going to give you a brief tour of our garden and a brief tour of our flock and what we built here, and show you a picture here pretty quick wherever they go. Again, I'm not technically handy or anything like that, but I'll show you a picture of our backyard before we did all this. Into our backyard, I guess you could call it a jungle. Cans of sunflowers, kind of strange initially. The Kansas sunflower, which is the state flower, was really considered a weed, maybe even a noxious weed. But we have every kind of plant, and we have more in the front. We'll kind of get to that with maybe future videos. We'll go back to the coop here in just a moment, back to the chicken yard, kind of panning around to the back of our house. We live in town, and this is all what you see here is all in town, in a backyard. That's Clementine. She escaped from the chicken yard just a few moments ago, snuck through the gate. She does that sometimes. She's pretty sneaky. She's a mighty hunter, that one, by the way. I have seen her on 3 occasions eat toads. If there's a locust around, you can hear them in the background. If there's a locust around, she's gonna get it. So I've kind of panned back around. You know, we do have the chickens kind of in a backyard space here. That's basically the chicken yard. And those of you who have chickens know that chickens will destroy anything that is green. So we did have to protect the garden. A little later in the season, we'll let the chickens out here and they can run and dig and eat and play and just tear up the joint as much as they want. But for now, we have 14 layers. With that said, we have one that's not laying yet. She's our Sicilian buttercup, and you see her right there. She's not laying yet, but we do have 14 layers. We have 9 or 10 breeds total, and they're begging for treats. You can hear them. So again, just a brief showing. Now that guy right there, that's Barney. Barney the bobblehead. He's my security guard. Just yesterday we had a juvenile red tail fly over. That's Barney the bobblehead, and really spooked the girls. So I constructed him a couple of years ago, and he kind of set some guard over the alley in my fishing boat, but I moved him to keep an eye on the flock. So again, this is our chicken run and coop. It expands all the time. The main chicken coop is the metal shed. Now, I wouldn't recommend metal sheds ordinarily for a chicken coop or a chicken roost. It has worked well for us with some modifications, and we'll kind of get to those here in a bit briefly. And we have many of the chicken names right there. Dixie is the lead bird, by the way. She's one of our Plymouth Barred Rocks. You see some of the other names. And you see also we have little Buffy. She's a buff rock, and she went seriously broody on us just a number of weeks ago. Several of our birds went broody, and we tried to break her, and she would not break. She wouldn't break at all. So we said, let's see what nature does. We borrowed some fertilized eggs from some folks that we know out here, and she's faithfully incubated those eggs. And we have a little kind of a nursery area here, so I'm trying to kind of catch that here. She successfully hatched 6 chicks and has been taking meticulous care of these little chicks. Now, sadly, we won't keep any of these chicks. They're really not ours, but the goal was to get Buff out of broody, and you can hear her talking to her chicks. It's almost bedtime. It's starting to get a little bit dark. So again, we have this little area that I put together just for her and her chicks when she was laying, and for them at this point to go to and be kind of separated from the rest of the flock. Metal shed with roosts and a little ladder, nesting boxes. There is a fan that's mounted up there. It's been brutally hot in Kansas. It's brutally hot in Kansas every year. So I did retrofit a little bit of electricity and light out here. That having a light out here is really, really helpful in some situations. So We close these two doors at night, and when it's brutally hot, we leave one of them open. We do have everything protected. I did add a roof to the run. We had some serious rain too, and so I did. There's Barney. I did add some gutter runoff for water, and a lot of people say that this is the Holiday Inn of chicken coops and runs. Again, this is just in a backyard. Here's our blackberry bushes here, just briefly. And I might say too that we have some really beautiful neighbors, and we so much appreciate the folks out here in this rural community specifically, but probably many in communities where you live. We have found it to be so refreshing compared to the suburbs. So we will have future videos. We appreciate you watching. We are new at this, so again, forgive us if we don't do things right, or camera's off, or I'm learning how to edit, that sort of thing. Thank you for watching. Thanks for being a part of it. And thank, again, all of you out there that have helped us along the way. We appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you soon. So before we sign off on the introductory video, there's somebody else I forgot to include in this video. I forgot to get his opinion and see if he had anything to add to all this. So let's pan over here, and he's been sitting here the whole time, and I forgot to include him. I'm kind of feeling bad about it. So anything you want to add, buddy? Anything at all? I know you.